Welcome, everybody. Happy New Year. Here we are, third Friday Salon at home. So I'll start with my house song by Dori Previn that Margo liked so much the last time. So 20 Mile Zone. I was riding in my car, screaming at the night, screaming at the dark, screaming at fright. I wasn't doing nothing, just driving about, screaming at the dark, letting it out. That's all I was doing, just letting it out. Well, along comes a motorcycle, very much to my surprise. I said, "Officer, was I speeding?" I couldn't see his eyes. He said, "No, you weren't speeding." And he felt where his gun was hung. He said, "Lady, you were screaming at the top of your lung. And you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone. You were screaming in your car in a 20-mile zone. You were doing it alone, you were doing it alone. You were screaming." I said, "I'll roll up all my windows. Don't want to disturb the peace. I'm just a creature who's looking for a little release." I said, "What's so wrong with screaming? Don't you do it at your games? When a quarterback breaks an elbow, when the boxer beats and maims. But you were doing it alone, you were doing it alone. You were screaming in a car in a 20-mile zone. You were doing it alone, you were doing it alone. You were screaming." I said, everybody does scream when they feel like. I said, animals roar when they feel like. I said, why can't I do that too? Instead of screaming bonsai baby in a war like a human zoo. He said, "I've got to take you in now. Follow me right behind, and let's have no more screaming like you're out of your mind." So he climbed aboard his cycle, and his red-eyed headlight beamed, and his motor started spinning, and his siren screamed. He was doing it alone, he was doing it alone. He was screaming on his bike in the 20-mile zone. He was doing it alone, he was doing it alone. He was screaming. I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone. I was screaming in my car in the 20-mile zone. I was doing it alone, I was doing it alone. I was screaming. We were doing it together, we were doing it together. We were screaming in the dark in the 20-mile zone, and we were doing it together. We were doing it together. We were doing it together alone in the 20-mile zone. Thank you. Woo! Thank you. Anyway, so now, without further ado, let's welcome Love Me in the Dark, Steve McCormick and Heather Donovan. We missed you so much.
We missed you guys too.
Welcome.
Wow. Thank you for having us. Wonderful to see you all. Wow. Wow.
You want to do that when we practiced or something? We're so rusty.
A little rusty. Let's just be honest.
We're all rusty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to do that?
Which one?
I'm gonna hold you to it.
Sure. Promise me you wouldn't. Up and down you swore. Won't walk out on each other. Won't quit no more. I'ma hold you to it. I ain't messing around. You are my foundation. So much to build upon. Fires will always be burning. My light will always be on. I'ma hold you to it. I ain't messing around, no. I'ma hold you to it. Won't let you take us down. I'ma hold you to it. I ain't messing around, no. I'ma hold you to it. Won't let you take us down. Gonna see the truth right through you. Gonna breathe my life into you. Won't let you drown. When you lose the fire in your faith, gonna lift you up off the cold ground, off the cold ground. I'ma hold you to it. I ain't messing around, no. I'ma hold you to it. Won't let you take us down. I'ma hold you. 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 I'ma hold you.
Yay.
Woo!
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Live music.
Thank you. Like music.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you so much. Maybe you'll come back later? Or do you
Yeah.
want to do
Yeah.
one? Okay. Nancy, how are we doing? You can stay a little longer? Okay. So let's introduce Margo Berdeshevsky. I love your name. Am I
Thank
saying it
you.
right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. It has so much weight and just wonderful. The power, the weight, it shows that you're in Paris. It shows all the places you've been to. Anyway, Margo was born in New York, often lives and writes in Paris. Her latest poetry collection, Before the Drought, is from Glassler Press. In early version, it was finalist for the National Poetry Series. A new poetry collection, It Is Still Beautiful to Hear the Heartbeat, is forthcoming from Salmon Poetry. A hybrid book, Neil Said the Night Waits at the Gate. Berdeshevsky is an author, as well as the author, as well of Between Soul Stone, but a Passage in Wilderness. Her book of illustrated stories, Beautiful Soon Enough, received the first Ronald Sukinik Innovative Fiction Award for Fiction Collective 2. Her work appeared in Poetry International, New Letters, Kenyan Review, Plume, Tupelo Quarterly, etc. And in Europe and the UK, her work has been seen in Poetry Review, Under the Radar, The Wolf, L'œuvre littéraire. She may be found reading from her books in London, Paris, New York City, Los Angeles, Honolulu, at literary festivals, and or somewhere new in the world. Please welcome Margo Berdeshevsky.
Greetings all, and thank you so much, Elena, for inviting me. It's lovely to be back with you again. It's been, what, 2 years since I was in Los Angeles, seeing one another face to face, and now internationally. As a friend of mine sent me a note a couple of minutes ago saying, you are the Zoom lady international. So here I am. It's 5:30 in the morning, or it was when we began. It's 5:30 in the morning here in Paris. And hello world, greetings. I'm going to start by reading 2 poems from the forthcoming book from Salmon Poetry, and then I'll read from Before the Drought. And I'll dive right in. Kneel, said the night. I sell mirrors in the city of the blind. Kabir. Kneel, said the night, her full paunched moon, mute as I am. Ask for words, said the night instead. Instead, a turning autumn path where the shepherd and his dog led their X-marked flock, where morning's cry is 100 made single bleat, made soon 1,000 dry-leafed whispers, made sunrise to its lover, the breeze. The lambs and sheep are X'd for killing. Hurry their soiled white woolen bodies as one towards sun. Slaughter ahead, but not yet. And my own marked tongue, taut like a wound watch, ticks trees, ticks bodies, ticks the veiled and the beheaded, ticks presidents, ticks light, ticks stain I cannot say or bend, ticks last year's dead. This morning's mute as a moon killed, the lambs will be meat before any plea is answered. The reddening forest can hear, urges syllables like breath to a fire, can speak to lamb, leaf, path, moss, stone. It can. Then I, land I mouth, hill of the dead, as if a voice. I have heard of ancient bones unearthed mere roads away from here. Skeleton of sounds. Poem, kneel, said the night. Kneel with me now, with the slaughtered sheep, in case there might be any reply. In solidarity. From the winter of. One of these is true. All the animals were making love. It was the day for it. All the other animals but a wolf who hid listening to the slide trombone of his own breath, who lay in a dim room, quiet, but for the simmer of breaths of the lovers outside. It was their day. There was no lock on the room, only a belief that he was meant to lie in the silence, breathe in the dim, not meant to question, no howling, no questions. He slept, warmed by the high fever of his belief. Once upon a time, there were bodies strewn and none to gather them. It was a massacre. That's why we remember the day. Death had shot and gotten away with it. That's what survivors said, warmed by the high fever of their belief. It was one single arrow of passion, and Eros was good with it, a winner, whom it struck, loved, and was loved in return, until it hurt the heart. No questions were allowed. The poison of love was a perfect killer. Everyone wanted to taste the poison, warmed by the high fever of their belief. Once upon a time, there was a peaceful body born who loved everyone and everything on earth and in the air. No one had taught her. She would lie down in silence on a road or a field to stop bullets or souls. She believed in the power of her thought. If warriors came with flags and swords and bombs and God on their side, stop, said her naked woman body, paused in the path of their attacks. She's on fire, observers saw, and loving her. Stop, said the covens of owls. Stop, said a murder of crows. Stop, said eyes from branches to the east, branches to the west. Stop, said the hawk who loved wars. Stop, murmured the dove who knew the hawk very well. And her naked body whispered, God does not love warriors. A whisper that pierced their hearts, that wanted to be loved by their own God. There, whispered the woman, looking to a sky she believed she saw. Do you know what to do now, God? Warmed by the high fever of her belief. One of these is true, or almost, a gift from the winter. I move now, thank you. I move now to a few poems from before the draft. 383,351,000 souls and counting. Souls whose lives have left their bodies from an illness the American president, who is about to depart, thank God, insisted was just going away. One small note leading into this poem. A woman I once knew many years ago when I lived in the Hawaiian Islands wrote to me here in Paris, out of the blue, after I had not heard from her for 10 or 15 years. And the note said that by the time I received her letter, she might no longer be in the body. And I began to write a poem, not knowing if it might be a reply to her still or an elegy. By the time I'd finished the poem, I learned it was the latter. Dusk. This is the place. No chairs. A woman who is choosing has sent a petal from her bloom of conscious closing. The woman who is choosing when scratches vellum. The rook stands, the woman in the nest of the phoenix, hovers nearer her edge, like that brood of birthing opal-throated pigeons in an empty flower trough, thirsty one stare above my sill, breaking their shells one by one. She repeats my words from dusk in a jungle where medicine leaned, small, against thorn trees. Each poison growing in a forest lives beside its antidote, we said. I am still eager, I said, or the scent of hyacinth. The woman remembering, who is choosing when to die. will curl before leaves have blood-burned September. Surrender by starvation. She doesn't name her illness, only how many days. 3 more. The woman in worn white cotton washed us in a tide pool, brewed petals shouted under egrets at the edge of rain. Bon voyage to me, and love life as you live it. She scribbles blue before her breath ends a night and a day, and the broken slant dawn. The woman who was choosing when to die, too young to be skeletal, skin taken wing, bone no longer needed.
Wow. It is, it's incredible.
Shall I wait until you finish speaking or turn off your mic?
Wow,
Susan,
amazing.
Susan, turn off the mic, please.
The woman remembering who is choosing when to die will curl before leaves have blood-burned September. Surrender by starvation. She doesn't name her illness, only how many days. 3 more. The woman in worn white cotton washed us in a tide pool, brewed petals, shouted under egrets at the edge of rain. Bon voyage to me, and love life as you live it. She scribbles blue before her breath ends a night and a day, and the broken slant dawn. The woman who was choosing when to die, too young to be skeletal, skin taken wing, bone no longer needed, dove, fire-eyed, distant, opal. The root does not care where her water comes from. Here is another thirsty body, broken into mourning. But here is my body, invisible on our lake, our dreamscape, the old blue heron lands. Beak of my hunger, beak of her hunger, beak of her mothering, mother me, I say. I'm her body of surrender waiting. I'm her body of hunger waiting. Her body of danger waiting under the 5 million starfall night. Mother, I cry, you promised kinder dreams. You promised sleep. Be kind, you said, before you surrendered, before you climbed the starfall. This night won't last, you said. I'm the heron, I'm the lake at peace. Our vine leads to you, you said. Your body of surrender waiting. I whisper, the blue heron will feed us. Blue dawn will delete us. Peace. Our bodies will sleep. Our danger will sleep. I will love you, you said. That was my promise before. Our lake waits. Don't cry, I said. Here's my body, I said. Sleep. The hungry beaks will feed, even sparrows, winged ones. Our old promise is kept this night, this dangerous, last, mothering us night. And lastly, also from the book Before the Drought, this is a blason, and it was written to honor a poet I loved when he was still alive, and I love him from beyond now. The poet is W.S. Merwin. Blason. If I'd known you when the island first scraped my foot soles, its sheer thumbs, hungry fishes, known you when its thin stones first fell to my hands, under waterfalls and the wide-winged black frigate's flight watched if I was learning. If I knew you then, knew how to listen, it was as syllables of a road I hadn't pronounced yet, but I would. It has taken small houses, roads you lived beyond one noon, while winter fell in your garden. You sent me to this one, this rim of a water that knows there are islands in the long clouds, that know the herds of lost poets, their harsh songs of desire, and how it hurts not to sing them. In the silence of rooms you built, with syllables and fires and vixens and nights, my steps listen to winds and the bats guiding light to your garden's wet growing, even without eyes, in such a quiet elder, celadon roads that have no names I can learn, except a scent of hawk, a carol of orioles' bows. I bow to one who has parted weeds for me, even at a distance, parted hours. Let me walk slowly, hands open behind you. And that's for W.S. Norway.
Thank you.
And I'll come back later with more.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you,
gorgeous.
Margo.
Bravo. Merci beaucoup.
Merci à toi.
You read the poem I was hoping you would read, which is the last poem, the Blason.
Yes.
One of my favorites, and still always beautiful when I hear it.
Thank you, Lois. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Margo. And here's the book, and you may order it from
Glass Lyre Press.
there you go.
Please do. Please do. As our editor said only the other day, because she put it up on screen again on Facebook of all places, more relevant now than ever before. And I'm afraid to say it is.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Margo. And now let's continue with Lois. And Lois will be featuring, are you ready, Lois? Lois will be featuring next month. So please welcome Lois P. Jones.
So I'm just going to read a short little poem, which is for some of you who, because I'm usually here for the one and only Zoom reading that I attend faithfully, because I love it and I love Elena. And I'm working on a series of poems based on the housekeeper who lived with Rainer Maria Rilke for the last 6 years of his life. And my friend here, Eva, translated the memoir, which the housekeeper wrote, and I'm writing persona poems based on that memoir. So this is called, and her name is Frida. This is called Housekeeping, Frida's Future Kiss. After the palm reader told her no man would ever claim her, she asked to be claimed by the white horse she dreamt of each evening. It always began with a nuzzle, a warm breath like a kiss made of clouds that hovered and finally released its rain. As if life only existed in the closed rooms of her eyes, and there the scent of crushed grapes and the white shadow of a horse becoming human. Not a satyr, but a transmogrification, like a moon impersonating street lamp. A tenderness that lived inside the small of her waist, his hand, this gentleness, and the tongues that mix their silence. She does not need her knees, fingers, thighs, saliva, only this window where she looks into the mind's vanishing frame. A flutter like a valve opens, and he turns to her, their love like silk sheets toppling over the wicker basket. That's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Lois. And now let's welcome Nancy Murphy.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Yes. What a treat tonight. It's wonderful to hear Margo's work and hear some music and see everybody. I haven't been here in a while. So I have a very humble piece, small poem. It's inspired by one of my favorite poets, Mark Strand, who passed away a couple of years ago now. It's his poem, A Piece of the Storm, and this is called A Piece of the Calm. From the California sky, silver sun slides into the kitchen between the slats in the window shades. It doesn't wait for me to notice. It is beyond needing things like that from this world. It taps on the table, not impatiently. I am reading the news of the day, weeping, sipping breakfast tea from the other side of the world. English tea is from places exotic like Assam, Kenya, Ceylon, such mystery in the old names. Sunlight tiptoes closer. I have that feeling when someone is watching you, and I look up from what has pulled me down. One thing leads to another. Now I watch fuzzy-headed treetops out the back window waltz with the glimmering from above. I listen to the doves flutter their adoration for each other. I pour again from the half-full teapot. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you so much. And now let's welcome Sally Stevens.
Thank you, Elena. I was trying to decide which poem to read. I think this is a sort of a political poem and it's silly, but I'll read it anyway. Money and the Pole Dance. Pray to the power gods, place your faith in them. How much is your vote worth? 10 bucks, 20 bucks, 100? Go to the bank, take out $100 and put it in $10 bills in your pocket. Then walk down to 42nd Street. Stop at every homeless person you see. Give each one a $10 bill and tell them, spend part of that on breakfast and then go to the polls. Save enough to buy a ticket for the pole dance. You don't even have to wait till election day. It doesn't matter what day you vote. Your vote doesn't count anyway. Imagine what would happen if all those dickhead politicians spent all those billions on all those ads, but all we dickheads agreed not to go to the pole dance and nobody won. Imagine the grim look on their faces. Imagine the empty seats in Congress. Imagine if all the incumbents who weren't reelected knew they had to go home. Imagine if a giant wind came along and blew the White House down. Imagine if thousands of $10 bills floated from the sky as they tried to do a recount and they couldn't match up the ballots with the $10 bills and it became apparent that it just wasn't a secure way of voting. And so all the incumbents went back to Washington and agreed that before their terms ran out, before the deadline hit, they would agree to make a rule that said no more money in politics. All the TV stations and radio stations had to give each candidate 20 minutes during each campaign. And they had to choose their words very carefully, and they could not appear on camera, and there could be no stand-ins. That's it, over and out. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you. Thank you, Sally. Okay, moving on. Vachine.
Thank you, Elena.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. A poem about my brand of American hero. Because last Saturday was Joan Baez's 80th birthday, and before that, a riot. So this is my pitch for my kind of Americans. covenant. American blood mixed in raucous union flowed from Gettysburg to Shanksville. Black, white, gay, Jew, Jap, Eureka sisters and brothers did not go down easy in these killing fields. 9/11 death by impact fragmentation cannot hallow this ground. Tower of Voices rises 93 feet above the bucolic prairie. One tuned chime for each passenger lost to battle cry, let's roll. Natural forces ignite the song of freedom rung from each chime. Wreckage burned a stand of hemlock trees like a Greek chorus of chants for their suicide mission. From Plymouth's Mayflower to the Golden Door, we never sink, never cower. American destiny manifests sunny on each grassy hill, not divided against themselves, crucibles without a spill. American blood flowed from Gettysburg to Shanksville.
Thank you. Thank you, Vachine.
Thank you.
And now let's welcome Ambika.
I'm not reading just now. Thank you.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to listen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cara Lopez Lee, all the
You
way
just hit
from
two. You just hit 2 in a row. I wasn't planning to read either. I'm just so delighted to be here and listen tonight.
Oh, but you're from Ventura. We have to.
I'm sorry. I don't have anything for you, Elena. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well,
I'm so glad to be here, though.
think about it. Maybe later. Okay. Stephen Miller.
There we go.
There we go.
Just getting confused about what to do here.
Are we in, Stephen?
Maybe he needs to unmute.
I'm sorry about that. I thought I had unmuted. So I think I got back and forth with that. So this is called The Chair. Beyond the reach of the cottage lights, I wandered into a crowd that night where the sand and stars compete at counting to infinity. At the bonfire's edge, I stared at the blaze until, like some dare, someone threw a wooden chair on top of the heap. And the way it landed so perfectly, perched and upright, seemed to say, please take a seat. You've had a hard day. A chunk of despair in my disrepair made that voice so loud that as the crowd closed in, it was clear the real sin would be to not do it or to wait too long. And just then, at the last humanly possible minute, I mounted the fire and sat down in it. Sat in the chair being licked by the flames, and though, like a filament, I could no longer see the faces, I know they saw mine, or for a second thought maybe the devil had come to stare them down at the edge of the sea, where the stars all strained to fill the gap. That gap between man and moon, wood and ash, flesh and the ambulance, hung in the air as I glanced down to where the chair sat, and down below that to the pulsing glow. And I swear I heard a voice go, it's okay, just stay, as the paint on the legs bubbled away. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Okay. Let's see. Dayna Leslie Hodges.
Hi.
Hi.
Just get my so much beautiful work tonight. It's always a treat to be able to hear everyone.
Thank you.
This is a new poem. My father's anniversary of passing was January 4th. It's been 9 years and it still doesn't feel like, it feels surreal. Like it doesn't feel like that. Anyway, this is a poem that I wrote like a day before the anniversary. It's called Anniversary of Mourning. Reading the Sunday newspaper on a crisp January morning, mug of steaming black coffee held to my chest to warm me. My grief climbs out of shadow. I turn from the paper, gaze out the undressed window. I shiver in gray blue light. Tears break over ramparts. I cannot quell their flow. I collapse in my chair, drop my weeping face into cupped hands, and like rain, rivulets pour past my fingers. My mother has awoken. I hear her getting her robe. I don't want her to remember heartache, not first thing in the morning. I wipe my eyes, press on eyelids to dam this tide of sorrow, erase that I've been crying. But newsprint smudges circle my storm. Thumbprints in black ink haunt with mourning. My eyes are dressed for a funeral. I am not ready. I never will be. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dayna. Susan Rogers. Are you ready, Susan?
Yeah, I'm here, but can we come back to me?
Of course.
Thank you.
Of course, madam. Beverly Collins, are you reading?
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
I want to share. I want to share a poem from the "We Are Here" anthology. Many of us are in this poem, in this anthology, and the one I'm going to share is mine, called "Some Bridges." Some bridges grimace in silence against the weight that presses them, like the quiet look from one's father, an inaudible support, sure in its reach, and sometimes a comforting presence that's taken for granted, like the shelter enjoyed by an umbrella, most quickly put aside once we have entered the doorway of a house. Some bridges offer passage while they are themselves unhinged. They give a feeling of safety as long as one does not look closely. For it is fear itself that is the undoing of a climber. Those who fall first imagine the slip of their feet from the step of certainty. On boat rides, I love to view the underside of bridges, their skeletons exposed. It reveals the history of cries and a closet of cracks that stare back at the viewer and dare anyone to speak a word of their existence. And that is from We Are Here. Thank you, guys. Good to hear all of you. Loving it.
Thank you, Beverly. Oops. Thank you. Okay. Stephen, Heather, can you stay longer?
Yes.
Good, good. Okay. Well, let's have Pamela Clay.
Thank you so much. And let me just, I was just gonna pour a little bit of water
And I've just been so enjoying everyone tonight. Oh my goodness. And I got inspired also when I heard Margo, the fact she's in Paris. And I thought, oh my goodness, I must do Jacques Brel. Hein? Jacques Brel. All right, here we go. This is Jacques Brel, Ne me quitte pas. Ne me quitte pas, il faut tout oublier, tout peut s'oublier, qui s'enfuit déjà. Oublier le temps, les malentendus et le temps perdu, à savoir comment oublier ces heures qui tuaient parfois à coups de pourquoi le cœur de bonheur. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Moi, je t'offrirai des perles de pluie venues de pays où il ne pleut pas. Je creuserai la terre jusqu'après ma mort pour couvrir ton corps doré de lumière. Je ferai un domaine où l'amour sera roi, où l'amour sera roi, où tu seras reine. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Ne me quitte pas, je t'inventerai des mots insensés que tu comprendras. Je te parlerai de ces amants-là qui ont vu deux fois leur cœur s'embrasser. Je te raconterai l'histoire de ce roi qui est mort de n'avoir pas pu te rencontrer. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. On a vu souvent rejaillir le feu de l'ancien volcan qu'on croyait trop vieux. Il est, paraît-il, des terres brûlées, donnant plus de blé qu'un mer avril. Et quand vient le soir, travers le ciel flamboie, le rouge et le noir ne s'épousent-ils pas? Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Ne me quitte pas, je ne vais plus parler, je ne vais plus pleurer, je me cacherai là à te regarder, causer et sourire, et puis t'écouter, chanter et puis rire. Laisse-moi devenir l'ombre de ton ombre, l'ombre de ta main, l'ombre de ton chien. Ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas, ne me quitte pas. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Pamela. Whew. Okay, Peggy Dobreer is in the house. Peggy, will you read something?
I'm such a mess. I didn't really, hi, everybody. It's good to see your faces.
Hi.
And to hear you all. I think I'll just listen. Maybe I'll pick something and
Okay.
yeah. Thank you
All
for
right.
asking.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right.
Lalo Kikiriki. Please welcome Lalo.
I'm unmuted.
Excellent.
This is from a very, very old book. And it's called Poem for Saul. And it's inspired by Soylent Green, so you get a leg up before we even start. Green Soylent's charnel aftertaste chokes down the sob that sears his throat. No tears, no tears. An old man's heart might burst like paper, scattering grief. Clutch back the flood, that terrible draft. Remember and rage, remember now, and rage. One instant, like a jewel translucent, aspen leaves tremble in crystal air, suspended between the icy water and blue slate mountains, summer licked bare. Down where the parchment trunks are scarred with the rude slash of love's engraving, land he must love over any woman, sour and aching as a love gone wrong.
Mm.
Swallow it down, that rotten truth, manna from heaven, wafer fish food. Bread on the waters, the hungry mouths rise, gulping in frenzy, swallow it down. No, it is not truth he can live with, no, and it will not. Let him be. He unhooks the glasses from his ears, pinching the pain at the bridge of his nose, presses his eyes. No tears, no tears. But behind his eyelids, the meadow blows. Columbines drink the melted snows, and there can be nowhere else to go. Out in the city, a siren cries. On this poisoned earth, where death is dear, there can be nowhere else to go. The light that fades as his rage subsides etches the darkness. The hemlock's taste embitters scenes long since laid waste. And optic proof of paradise transforms the chamber where he lies ready to die, to know once more the face of his lost beloved earth.
Thank you. Thank you, Lalo. Okay. RJ Jeffries. RJ?
I'm here. It just took a minute to unmute myself.
Okay.
Hang on one second.
Welcome all the way from Boston.
Yes, Beantown. Thank you very much, Elena. It's lovely to be here. Thank you again so much for allowing me to attend these events. They're magical. And good thing I had my swooning chair ready for the singers. So thank you for that as well. I was able to fall right back into that. Margo, I want to say congratulations on your new upcoming book from Glassfire Press. I also had the
RJ, thank you.
I also had the honor of having some of my poems published with them as well. And Ambika, you already know this, but she's a wonderfully kind and generous person, and it's an exquisite press. This one is called The Will of the Wind. It's the will of the wind that in its urging moves me here and there, sometimes fierce and at times as calm as a baby's breath. And then there are days when it feels as if it's passing right through me. It's the will of the wind that raises my eyes to the sky. There are so many secrets to be found in clouds, in the nebulous shapes the imagination coalesces them in forms we join in our mind. It's the will of the wind on open plains, twisting and bending the tall wheat stalks, rolling the grassland like an earthbound flying carpet, which I soar upon at my leisure and ponder winds already past. It's the will of the wind that's like my will, secreted in clouds of my own imaginings, sometimes most fierce, but at times as calm as a baby's breath. That's it.
Thank you, RJ.
You're welcome, Elena.
Thank you. Stephen Heather, do you have another?
Okay, Elena, I'll read.
There we go.
Yep, after the
difficulty.
And by the way, Love Me in the Dark is also the name of their album. And
it's
for the new people, they're just amazing.
A record.
Thank you. Thank you. And they're just amazing singing duo, teachers, producers, backup artists, you name it, everything. And best friends, of course. Thank you.
And parents.
And parents.
Yeah.
I was going to say that. Trick me to try. I think it's uncool of me if I didn't comply. So I'll never kiss you. One simple goodbye. It's mine, oh mine, oh mine. My, how it changes when you come along. My, how the strangers things don't seem wrong. My, how the voices and here become songs. Oh my, oh my, oh my. You wouldn't touch me if you couldn't cry. Would that be too much for me? And I couldn't reply. I'll never kiss you, no. With tears in your eyes. 'Cause oh my, how it changes when you come along. How the strangest things don't seem wrong. How the voices I hear become songs. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my.
Yay.
Woo! I love it. Ooh.
Thank you. Thank you, Love Me in the Dark.
Thank you so much.
Our pleasure.
So beautiful to see
you.
each of you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you. Now, Paul Thiel, is he still here? Paul?
Someone's asking how to get the CD. Can you put a link for the CD in the text box down there?
It's on Steve's on the website, which is in the.
We'll do the
We'll put a link in the,
we'll put the
in the
Bandcamp link.
comments.
Make it simpler.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Lena, it looks like Paul might have had to leave. I don't see his name up there anymore.
Okay.
Elena, I'll read.
So sorry. Sure. Okay, Ambika. Maybe he'll come back. Sorry. Sorry.
So since Dayna read about her father, I'll read about mine. And this was out in a blog last year, and it just won the December monthly contest with the CSPS. So it's called Losses into Treasures. My father, dear glorious one, how do you fare so far away? I am readying for another visit to a distant home. I miss you as Mad Earth who contains all our stories. Your absence so palpable, even trees bend to gaze in my eyes. In these presences, I gather riches of your wise brown eyes I wrote off wild moons ago. Some riches are born of loss. All losses become treasures. Not yours, not now, maybe tomorrow. I cannot shed the pain of my lostness of you. Wild orange blue bird-like flower courses through my domain. Walls wither. There are no excuses for not speaking tongues of love. Moments of eternal stories gather moss strung in my heart's eyes. I must speak of them now to you. Tales from my little days, as teen years pulled me tall. My injured hand, shy smile, falling star, maker of tea. I could never say them aloud. Power of silence, of shutting had me captured with tales of she's too much. Find out now how too much I am. I love too much to come close. You with the grand trine in the skies that mirrors mine. Stargazers have told me but I could tear apart the sky looking for you, to tell a story a day for 100 years. Your palms, bruised, curved ridges, disappear into a lost horizon. I search. My shadow walks behind me, and your voice remembers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambika. Thank you. Peggy, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
Good
Peggy.
to hear everybody. And I'm so sorry I was late. I was in a meeting and it ran long, but I'm very happy to be here. So thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
This one was just in a journal called What Rough Beast, which I love, from Yeats. Hummingbird. A tree-like dancer with snakeskin briefcase, a sleek red dress with one ruffled sleeve, a stack of workshop notes like world maps, and a box of twisted cords from upgraded devices. A couple famous boys in quarantine closets, a bird of a father who drank only wild turkey, a rooster that crows on the silence of an owl, and a crew of pigeons circling the highlands. A crate with an open grate and a small trough of seeds and water. Birds come in ravenous from flight. A collection of small items, sterling silver, a bud vase, an olive fork, one baby cup, and a bracelet of solid charms the size of your pinky tip, ice skates tied by the laces, a wind-up telephone, a pair of ballet slippers, and one gold Star of David, at least 20 pennyweights, maybe more. A single holly tree with no mate anywhere in the canyon, so no berries on her branches. Still a fall filled with hummers and robins and jays and doves, and a small murmur of homing pigeons. Brazen like boulders rolling down the hill's slope, succumbing to gravity, surrendering to time, and a cozy old fleece robe that feels like home, that homes like birds, folding their wings around themselves.
Thank you, Peggy. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have one short poem myself, something that I haven't read. From the womb. I do not understand how, coming from the calm waters of the womb, human beings can grow to be so violent, searching for trouble, full of envy and greed. I cannot understand how human beings can get to be so insecure, alone, pulled deeper into the abyss of despair. I will not understand how human beings are oblivious to the crying innocent child. I can only wish that the next tide will bring as many people into the circle of love, and the sun sparkling above the ocean will light the steps towards the smooth, tranquil waters of love, while the warmth and security of the womb will echo on. Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Okay, moving on. Susan.
Yes. Let's see. I don't see myself. Where am I?
Are you ready now, or should I come back to you?
Well, I can actually do a kind of a version of something now, because I was very. We can read other people's poems, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I was very drawn to this. Let's see if I can get this while I'm on trying to see if I can do it while I'm on. You know, I'm having phone, let's see. Maybe go on because I'm having some phone issues with my connecting here. Oh yeah, there we go. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. We can, yes.
Okay, great. So for some reason, my phone is seizing up. Let's see.
Okay, do you want to just, shall we go into Margo and then you come back?
I think, yeah, because for some reason I'm
Okay,
having some
all right,
issues with my
okay,
phone.
all right.
Sorry.
Margo.
There I am, I'm back. Hello
Okay.
again.
Hi.
Okay, I'm going to begin. I have a request from Lois from an earlier book that I know she loves very much, and I still do also. It's the book Between Soul and Stone. And it's the first poem of the book. It's called My Long Drum. But I stopped the prayer when the stair broke under the weight of wanting you. Closed the now I lay me eyes, fists in them like guns, while temple candles spit light at you who made it. Light, not a plastic red lamp above an ark, light, while you who made it, was that you crying, begging for water in the dark? You, God, in birch trees you knew me, knelt while I held me while bone after bone after bone bent. Unblinking, listened, unhearing, hear, O Lord, the Lord hour is one. Deaf stones in your ears, but knew the reach of my paw, its red flesh. Hear, O Lord, the Lord hour, I'm starting. I'm standing from fallen wish. Branch, mud of your making, standing ash, standing woman of my making. Starting, adding, please, dear, between beg and mouth, black praise going silver, yours or mine. Between, hear, O Lord, may the words of my mouth say, hear the words of this mouth, say, leaves turning silk, say, dove, your hand, how it strokes my bended, how you love. Closed now, now I lay me, and here, Lord, let me, a river, my skin, let the mud, let the praise, let spilled word unknow, the knife withdraw. Let me be woman. Let each eye unshroud. Let God be holy in my mouth one morning. My long drum, my long drum, my long drum, where you have halted your horse. And I'll go back to Before the Drought.
Thank you.
Beyond my used up words. Very apt, I'm afraid, for this week we've been living through. Keening with the fallen, and that is not enough. Then how will I sleep or write of herons? Tides torn in an angry sea's claw, stilled flesh, whitening where the wild orchid rises and withers, her tiny many mouths along a single stalk, a chorus. All its still children call for any god to reach them, breaths stopped, no murmurs left, and that is not enough. When I see you, my breath tears there between your bodies, If I say what I know of plenty and of empty, how will I sleep or dream of herons? Leaps cut down, curled, used on the bright of road blood, stilled in its breeze. Be safe this day, friends. Don't curl and don't be killed, not this day, not after. There will be cold wakings when your fist will haunt all sleep, when the dun silence will leave. I mean to see you if ever I cannot stand. This side of the newborn stream, there's no blood left, no blood yet, but let our cry carry, infant in its clairvoyance call. Let our knowing bleed. How can we sleep or write of the fallen? I'm without skin today, your drum deeper and going deeper in. And that is not enough. There is a place where the wing tears, and there is a day when the heron stands, and there is a river for revolution, the hardest love coming in. Bring me to the river where lives begin, where our nakedness needs no skin. Bring me to where it begins and begins, nameless and coming in. At the end of the beginnings, we dress in long light, a hybrid body of stars, river where the parched heart drinks her fill, hill where the unborn climb. And lest I be too sentimental in going out, allow me to be angry for all of us. Kings of underworlds, kings of towers, too like those who've eaten the food of the dead. They may not return to a world of the living. Too like Persephone, seized by underworld's soot-horsed god. America, raped by tower men, fat with iced sperm and testosterone. Too like Mandelstam's Petropolis, where we will leave only bone. We too drink the air of death, too like that ancient rape, told and told. Myth's pomegranate seeds, choked down under one god mad god's fist. Too like lies we were force-fed at dawn, and dusk, and dark. Too like impressionists' mute edges, stained light spilled. Too like lost babies in webs of thorns left to crawl blind. Those left like coal after its fires will rise like dust from ash, remembering everything. Rape of America, yes. Kings of underworlds, kings of towers, dust from ash. When the fires die, crawl blind. May you be hungry. May you feast on the world and the food of the dead. Peace out.
Thank you, Margo. Thank you. Alex Stein. Hi. Would you like to read?
Sure, I'll read something. This is for, I wrote this a few years ago for someone I know who died.
Your voice is very faint.
How's that? Is that better?
A teeny bit. Could it be better than this?
I can shout.
No,
but...
no, don't shout. This is fine.
Okay. The grace was unexpected, not because you weren't graceful,
but because there was always grumpiness with it, a sense of aggression when it wasn't needed. You were always laughing, but there was an edge to the laughter, a weird edge. The grace came later. Not too late, almost too late, but definitely later. The grumpiness and the aggression, frankly, were hard to take. So I held them against you. And that's my grumpiness. That's my lack of grace. Your own letting go had odd results. It caused so many to cling to you, cleave to you in person and on Facebook, and then in person again. You held a gathering of your friends and students and former students, hundreds of people in a park with you wearing a t-shirt that said, "I'm not dead yet." Maybe it made you wish you'd let go years earlier, of the aggression and grumpiness at least. And you said you didn't want people to be sad. You said that a lot. Well, listen, fuck you. It's not your call, not your decision. Clinging to the sadness might be selfish. Again, fuck you. It's not your call. It's easy for you to have grace now. And I'm sure you'd tell me it would be easy for me as well. Maybe someday. I hope for it, but not today. Today, I have no grace. I have grumpiness and sadness and a lot more. I don't want to be maudlin. I've had 2 Thanksgiving dinners over the past 4 days, none of them on Thanksgiving and none with my family. And I've had enough turkey and yams and stuffing to last for years. I've had 4 different types of pie and 2 different kinds of cakes. And I've had 18-year-old mead and really good beer and too much caffeine. I have avoided all of the Black Friday shopping and most news coverage of the riots happening at the Black Friday shopping. And I've got the cat, Sitka P. Coldfoot, the cat named after not 1, but 2 places in Alaska. The cat who keeps all my secrets, who won't tell anyone that I frequently cry at sappy movies about normal families who treat each other well. The cat who moves with sleek speed whenever a bird comes onto the courtyard. The cat who slinks down so low to the ground that he could win any limbo contest. The cat comes over to me. He irps when I pet him. I'm worried, the cat says. There's no need to be worried, I tell him. You've seemed sad this past week, he says. It's true, I've been sad. The cat is perceptive like that. I tell him why I was sad. I tell him Joel died. And he said, that's natural. People die. Even cats die. And I say, I know, but it still makes me sad. And I didn't even know Joel that well, but I'm still sad. And then I feel guilty that I'm taking somehow sadness away from people who knew him better, people who deserve to be really sad. And the cat thinks about this for a few minutes. And then he says, what happens after we die? And I tell him, I don't know. I tell him different people believe different things. And he says, how old was your friend? And I tell him 63, a number that once seemed impossibly old and now strikes me as far too young. Cats don't live that long, the cat says matter-of-factly. Otherwise, there would be no mice left in the world. It's hard to argue with that. I mean, it's hard in general to argue with a cat, but it's especially hard to argue with that. You know what I think, the cat says? His head cocked to one side, his ears pointing up like he's trying to pick up a distant radio signal. I shake my head. I think I would have died if you hadn't rescued me. I think they would have decided no one would have adopted me and they would have put me to sleep. And I scritch him behind the ears and say, we're both lucky that didn't happen. Does that help with the sadness? The cat asks. I don't answer. I don't know what to say. And then he headbutts my knee. His front paws wrap around my leg, claws slowly gripping and ungripping me through the fleece blanket. The cat has grace. You and the cat. And that's not enough to conquer all the sadness, but it helps just a little. And maybe right now, that's enough. Thanks.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you. Now, Mary Torregrossa. Do you have something?
Buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
This is called Zest.
Zest.
If one never tasted lemons, one might think them sweet. Yellow rinds, happy as the midday sun, or daffodils. Handsome lemon, impossible to peel, skin so close to pith. My thumbnails in your navel dig to no avail, but the scent of you sparkles and squirts like rain on a hot day, makes my mouth water, lips smacking, that little burn on the tip of my tongue. I cut the pretty lemon open with a knife, discover white seeds like teeth, buried in the juicy pulp. Desire does not prepare me for your sharp and sour bite. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mary.
Love it.
Susan, are you ready? Susan? Okay, moving on. Eva, are you reading? Okay, Susan, calling Susan.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, I'm
we
here.
can.
Okay, so I was going to read a poem that kind of connects with what Margo was reading about the king, Ozymandias, and I had a little variation of it. But now, if maybe we have a second round, I wanted to read something that has a French connection from Margo. There's an epigraph to this poem. I think we did this before, Elena, with you and Lois and I. It's from Paul Verlaine. And it's Il pleut dans mon cœur. So the whole poem is of that. The French is Il pleut dans mon cœur comme il pleut sur la ville. Quelle est cette langueur qui pénètre mon cœur? Ô bruit doux de la pluie par terre et sur les toits, pour un cœur qui s'ennuie au le chant de la pluie. Il pleut sans raison dans ce cœur qui se cœur. Quoi? Notre raison? C'est bien, actually, this is a different version, but anyway, c'est bien la pire peine de ne savoir pourquoi, sans amour et sans haine, mon cœur a tant de peine. I learned it a little bit differently. So my poem, which begins with the quote, Il pleut dans mon cœur comme il pleut sur la ville, is called Winter Rain. My tears fall from the winter skies. I hear them on the pavement and the walls. I do not feel them, even though I try. How could I know they'd grow to such a size? They feel the clouded night, and still they fall. My tears rain from the winter skies. Keening, they keep me awake tonight, with wordless songs that linger and appall. I do not feel them, even though I try. My fear moves in the clouds, and I surmise it will not stop this rain or slow its fall. My tears call from the winter skies. The drops sing with the sound of one who cries into the trees outside my bedroom walls. I do not feel them, even though I try. I've thought, but do not know the reason why. I've searched within myself, but can't recall. My tears fall from the winter skies. I hear, but do not feel them as they fall.
Beautiful. Thank you, Susan. Thank you.
I don't know what happened to the Paul Verlaine, but it was a different version on my phone than I had learned when I was in school. So maybe Margo knows the correct version.
Well, I don't have the entire version, but I have the quote from it as an epigraph for the first poem of Before the Drought, actually.
Oh, well, there you go. So it was a good choice.
Yes.
Well, I read it for you, Margo.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Were you going to do the epigraph?
Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Well, I'll give it to you in English, and this is blason pour le corps, blason for the body. Gentle the sound of the rain, Verlaine. Clitoris, belly, nape, taste bud, body beloved bully, how surprisingly you strut, how unexpectedly you age, how night rides the in and the out of you, sen of you, dough of you. Who raped the silk in you? Don't answer. Blood's hummingbird under your ribs. Body monster, ravenous, now the hound's heartbeat outrunning my greed. Body inside, thin ibis, flaming. Mirror bitch brayer, do I love you or not? Body, my blessing, my birthday bleed. Body, my deceiver. Body, my taunt. My strutter, my ogre, my mirror bitch brayer. We're as opened as we'll ever be. Listen, listen. Verlaine's new reign.
Thank you. Thank you. Lois, do you have another?
Everybody's reading so many sad poems.
We can change the vibe.
So I have only 2 sad poems here. I mean, I could try to find something that's not sad, but I'm going to read this one. Gosh, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to read this poem about my brother. So it's a new poem. My brother passed away on January 1st. And he had COVID in the hospital. He was in a convalescent hospital, and he got COVID at the convalescent place. And yeah, so he didn't make it out of the hospital. So the first line starts with the title of the poem is from a line by George Calordris, and the title of the poem also starts the poem. Naked as a lightning rod, he waited until everyone had left the room, and his unheld hand lay open like a question to nothing but the way he passed through the pale ceiling, rising through the hospital roof, rising like a prize fighter from the body's defeat to just below the cloud layer of Los Angeles. He could see everything he had loved and what had loved him and what had not. He could see Dodger Stadium and hear all the cheers of games that ever were. He could catch the high fly balls and let them fall again. Those diaphanous spheres of desire, like men who hope to hit something which could never be caught. And higher, across the land, where a sister walks in Descanso, past the tree he hugged, and the mulberry with its bones breaking out of its body, gnarled and rooted. Could see the ducklings as they once flocked to their feet, and the fleeting conversations rising into spring leaves. Now further up, until his beloved Pacific was a chorus line of reclining women, like Matisse's blue nude. The repeating waves drawing him into its perfect answer. That's all.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful, Lois.
Thank you. Sally Stevens.
There are houses. There are houses I will never live in, gardens I will never grow, dreams of glory I've forsaken, seashores I will never know, distant roads I'll never travel, sunsets just beyond my view, shooting stars across a night sky, daybreaks of a different hue. There are roads I'll never travel, songs my heart will never sing. So much beauty mustn't waste it. Life is such a precious thing. Mountaintops I'll never shout from, springtimes I'll not see in bloom, empty pages, well-kept secrets, and in some unentered room, there's a man whose heart is waiting. Please, God, let him find me soon.
Beautiful. Okay, so
Since Lois said we were all reading sad poems, I thought I'd read something really ridiculous.
Okay.
It's called Ice Cream for Rumi, and I don't remember what stirred it, but
oh, by the way, they found COVID in ice cream in China. Did you see that?
no, and I don't believe all the news that I hear. So,
Okay. Well,
you know, so that's another one on ice cream. So Ice Cream for Rumi, and I don't remember what stirred it, but I wrote it many years ago. Okay. All around were dollops of galloping horses, trees married to earth and clouds. Far away, a rain of raisins somewhere, salt chocolate trickled in like rivers. When soul loves in rightfulness, the glad being delights. Some call it just desserts. Just? Indeed, this is a feast to senses of hovering angels. Rumi, relish this cherishing bowl of ice cream now. White vanilla dolloped over hilly range. Quick, quick before the horses run away with the carriage and global warming reduces the serving to groundwater sticky sweet and nothing as mini ice age creeps into our bones. Just for now, seize the spoon. You might find love sweet, cold, sticky. Swallow before it melts to nothing. That's it. Thank you.
Well, okay. Cara, did you find something?
Oh my gosh. This evening has been so dark I couldn't decide what to do, but I'm just going to go ahead and go with it. All right. It seems to be the mood du jour, and it's okay by me. This is called Subterranean. The murky tide fills our old basement, from hot showers taken in lonely shifts, cold rinse cycles of separated laundry, clandestine flushes of waste. Destruction rises from our drain. Cause unknown, maybe the roots of our unruly mulberry tree, strangling the household that tears off her limbs. Like an adult child of aging parents, used water is not welcome to return home. Which pipe is it? The main line, the biggest in the system. Last week, my father called. I don't know if you heard, but my mom fell and broke her leg. How would I hear, I said. From who, if not you? Dad's mother is my mother. When he called her mom, I called her mom because I didn't have another and thought it was her name. She's a mocking old mamas, so it's almost a relief. Soon no one will say my pie filling is too low or my breasts look good now that I've gained weight. Maybe it's a relief to her too, after so much breakage. Her mother, who died before memory, consumed at 17. Her father, who denied she was his. though he hired her to wait tables for tips. Which bone is it? Her femur, the biggest in the body. A plumber named Leroy feeds a snake into the tunnel, laying down diapers to keep muck from falling on our carpet. The snake's head gets stuck in the jaws of an underground beast. Leroy struggles to retrieve his pet, letting it out and reeling it in, like family resentment. The serpent lurches from the depths, smelling of excrement and bathwater, incinerator crusts and worms. The rooter pulled up something that might be root. The rest hides in earth, sprouting new heads. I bought a ticket home because an 88-year-old woman does not reach for a chair and miss, fall, and break without dying. I brought flowers, though they always reminded Mom of her little cousin, though roses smelled to her like death. She was 8 when she babysat that girl, whose mother sent her to the movies with chickenpox and no coat. I almost knocked bouquet off bedstand, attempting a horizontal hug with the frizzle-haired former beauty propped at 45 degrees. They didn't expect me to survive, Mom said, but I wanted to tell you my side of the story. Knotted fingers brushed mine. I imagined those fuchsia nails pressing her panic button again and again, till she realized nobody was coming. She stared at the point where her femur split from her depths. How she reached the phone is a mystery. It won't be the last thing she forgets. To check our pipe, we run the empty clothes washer, sending clear water to join our neighbor's dark water, flowing under the alley like a subterranean river. Leroy waves goodbye, believing he has saved us, but a white plumber named Leroy is a straight man waiting for a punchline. Soon the river sends back our unwanted water, and my toes cringe from the amoebic squish of sewage-soaked carpet. Leroy refuses to return his snake to the hydra unless we promise to pay for search and rescue. How much will disaster cost? I stare into the abyss. I have no idea. It's a mystery he cannot plumb. The surgeon set Mom's femur with pins. Maybe someday an anthropologist will dig it up and wonder. For a week, I emptied out her trailer, blank birthday cards she could no longer sign, the orange vase I wanted because orange was the color of childhood, great-grandma's portrait that I convinced Dad to want, spoiling my fantasy fight over who got what. For a week, I visited Mom's shrinking body, brushed her chemical wasteland of hair, though her bees had abandoned the hive, clutched her shoulder as the doctor pulled 19 staples from her thigh, or was it 23? Averted my eyes from the diaper that kept her muck from falling on the carpet. When Maggie in the next bed cried, I just want to get out of this place, when a woman in a wheelchair shouted at a man in a wheelchair, I'll kick the shit out of you, I blurted, Mom, do you want to live with me? Time enough to regret wading in too deep, 8 weeks waiting for bone to heal. The plumber sends a camera under our house, under our garden, into black water. A beacon beeps to reveal where the camera drowned. Leroy says, good news, just $9,000 to dig up concrete and replace a piece of pipe shorter than a femur. I cannot look at Leroy, whose working class name has betrayed me. My husband cannot face his boss, who signs papers so we can borrow from his 401k. In 5 years, we'll own the hunk of plastic that connects us to the neighborhood's river of shit. It's guaranteed for 50. Great, my husband says. I'll be dead by then. Our sewer runs deep, 6 feet down. Mom forgot I asked her to live with me and other things, that her toothpaste isn't moisturizer, that her phone is not a water glass, that I am her daughter. A week later, she asked, did you hear? I broke my leg. I hope she forgets the day I asked her how to reach her dentist, repeating questions over and over, frightened because she couldn't remember what I'd asked 5 seconds before. I pressed fingers to exhausted eyes, bringing tears to hers as she hissed, you're the most impatient person in the world. I wanted to whine, you're mean, and stomp away, but I stayed because she'd survived to tell me her side of the story, even if she couldn't remember it. I stayed because I remembered my first Easter egg hunt when I couldn't find a single egg, so she found one for me. And I cried harder because I wanted to do it myself. I stayed because when the world goes to shit, love is the biggest bone in the body, even if it's held together with pins. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. How are we doing here?
We're good.
We're good. Okay, so I'm going to just leave it like, make this spontaneous. Whoever wants to go, just go. Let's,
I'd like to go.
okay.
I wanted to go because of the reference of Margo to the kings. So there was I think this is politically very appropriate on Joseph Fasano's site. He posted the poem. I don't know exactly how you pronounce this. I always mispronounce it, but Ozymandias or Ozymandias by Percy Shelley. And I have two poetic responses to this that kind of connect to Margo's poem. So the Shelley poem is this. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, two vast and trunkless legs of stone stand in the desert. Near them, on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkled lip and sneer of cold command tell that its sculptor well those passions read, which yet survive, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch away. And my my short response, I have two responses. My short response to that, if you can think of what's going on today politically, is look on my works, ye mighty, offer praise. Only grass beside remains. And round the broken fragments of that mythic wall, unfinished and unwanted, we stand amazed, watching children of two countries playing with fallen bricks, the machinery of wall making far away. And my second response, which is actually also to the same basic idea, is a sonnet. It's called The Emperor Dowager's Ornaments, with the epigraph Ozymandias, and on the pedestal, these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, in despair. Chichi, were you wearing jade in your hair when the emperor overheard you singing? Among concubines in the garden, where you beguiled him? You rose in rank, bearing him a son. And were you wearing jade at your birthday feast? 100 dishes, pearl powder and ginseng, duck's tongue, food made from flowers for beauty, for your wishes of longevity. All that opulence, the release of 10,000 birds, your sleep adorned by pillows stuffed with tea, essence of rose, your silk clothes, your jewels, couldn't keep you alive, could they? They were all taken, your tomb stripped, jade gone, and you forsaken.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you. Lalo, do you have a song? I missed your accordion.
I have someone in the house, so I can't play the accordion, but I do have something funny.
Okay.
This is from that same 40-year-old book. And let's see, where is it? Perhaps it's not in this book. Ah, it's called Brogalian Madonna. That's why I couldn't find it. Or Ya Ya Yo Mama Smokes Marijuana. Ya Ya Yo Mama smokes marijuana. She smokes it. She tokes it. She lights up in traffic. I mean to be graphic. She whips out a hairpin and slips a big roach in and lights it. She might sit forever. Stay stoned forever and ever and ever. Ah, Man. Honk, honk, move it, lady. I mean it. I seen it. Your mama smokes dope. And that was before it was legal.
And I have one more that I could share with you.
Sure.
This one is called Torch. And it goes like this. And this one appeared in the Readers and Writers magazine. It's mine, of course. Here it is again, a longing that sits unmutable in every cell. That low-light chandelier sensation that hangs over my day. His smile is like the seed of a new religion. My hope swells and illuminates brightly when I see him. Will I ever grow up and mature beyond my girly wishes and dreams? They drag behind me like a broken rake that gets tangled in reality's shoelaces. The overlooked is a stab of rejection with no application submitted, where one becomes dull hunger's living voice. I side-eye blankly at nothing, sigh in very unexpected moments, and carry this heavy, smoky excitement. A torch that was once a little spark roars through my feelings like a nagging companion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody.
Thank you.
I have something, Elena.
Sure.
You know, Archie, I was glad that you mentioned Glasslear. And Margo will be sisters soon. I'm so thrilled that they chose my little chapbook this year. So I'm going to read this poem. Thank you. I'm going to read this poem that didn't get in the chapbook, and it's kind of silly, but in a kind of serious way. And I wrote this for my friend Perla, who sang for many years with Leonard Cohen. And I wrote it on the day of the anniversary of her mother's death. And it moved me very much when her mother passed, how many things I learned about her through her talk of her mother, who was quite a part of the cultural fabric of Venice. And I knew her as that, but I didn't know Perla at the time I knew her mother. So I find it, anyway, long story, even longer. Here's the poem. It's called Gathered Safely In for Perla. And it has an epigraph. Dance me through the panic till I'm gathered safely in. If I end you till the dance of time, will the dance continue, or will time stop it? Will it circle back, spin retro causation, take its own sweet punctuation, mark of a question, call me you by my name given, the syllables look right past me, the wrongs number, the mountains burn, rage flares, masking in the streets roped off, hope, loss, rot. If I end you till the dance of time, will you ration me like paper? Will you roast me earthwise, a forest mouthed in honeycrisp? Will the eye of your apple seek early emancipation? What is slavery after all, if not for cages? What are babies, if not the borders of our bodies flung wide ajar, open, open? What is opening, if not action, a vote, if not marvel, a shift? If I end you till the dance of time, will we gather safely in? Thank you.
Thank you.
Lovely. If I may, homage to Paris, homage to ice cream, Ambika, and to the Verlaine lovers, some rain, taste of vanilla. Somewhere on a bed, a woman, tasting rain. Somewhere on the Seine, a motorboat, 3 monks in gray cassocks and life vests reach. Their little launch idles where they clamber out and up a jetty wall to buy ice cream cones at Bertillon. Reboard and riverborne lick prayers as potent as vanilla to bells. The most surreal tourists in sight of Notre Dame, her steel eye. Small pleasures beckon. They will remember the taste of marron glacé and vanille and the water spray of a filthy river, mixed for all their lives. It will taste like sacrament, like sex. Small torpor makes us want to weep all week. Weep for choking oil-slick beaks. Weep for independence fallen in our country. Weep for altars of an old light. Cooled enough to cross again, sky, its metallic with albumen gilded with vanished sun. Stains left behind like some slaughtered goat, carted off in pieces. Magnificence of its kill color, smeared where it last cried. Quieted, kinder. Sky guards its monks on a platinum Seine. There's a Russian story. 3 hermit monks on a desert island, so old they have forgotten how to pray. Their bishop's voyaging ship stops. He lowers in a tiny boat and lands it at their shore to bless them. We've forgotten, they confess. Teach us, please, again. And he does, and leaves them to their lonely holiness. No sooner gone than the old men forget their prayer. Bereft, one runs and chases after, running on waves to cry, "Oh, Father, Father, we've forgotten. Teach us again." So much for miracles.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have a short one.
Okay. Dayna.
This is a little thing I wrote the other day. It's called Hope. Hope is color amidst earth and hue, a bright spot in charcoal emotion, a smile nestled in tree branches, an invitation for intimacy, arms wide open for embrace, a tree limb to rest in, to fashion a nest in. Hope is home, a place to dream and dance, a safe corner to unfurl. Hope is reflection, a clear lake at dawn, where I can skip rocks into tomorrow and daydream soars into my reality. Hope is kneeling with open hands to heaven. Hope is love and hello, and I'm delighted to meet you. That's all.
Thank you, Dayna. Anybody else?
Bravo.
Oh, Ajay?
Yes, I
No?
think I'll read a couple, but man, I gotta go because I lost my Wi-Fi and I'm almost out of data. First one is one that I wrote for someone here, and her name is Dayna, which I think came out good, and she liked it, and that's what matters the most. The other one is a romantic period piece. It's a little bit long, but this one's short. Let me just scroll. It's called Lazy Days, and parenthetically for Dayna. Lazy days in breezes swept away, watching the apples and trees rustle and sway. Summer's light set over green pastures view is darkening the sky a deep blue hue, while rocking chairs on a porch aligned by 2 remind me of lazy days set beside you.
Mm.
The next one is called Safely Kept. Cloistered I sit, safely kept in my room. It acts as a cocoon, an untimely tune. To reclaim that which I so lovingly sent is to wonder where my wonderment went. Long have I inured here and sat perplexed, Long have I longed to solve what is vexed, but my cocoon has holes for which I peer, at all things long lost that I held so dear. Lost is a flame that eternally burns, a bell's toll echo which never returns. Insulated in this cocoon, I remain, bearing a monody of the bell's lost refrain. Heavenly I dwelt in my days gone by, blissful was my heart, alone in its sky. In Elysium I reigned, I endured, heart of heart sovereignty in peace assured. The bell's silence safely kept in my room, higher realms now forsaken lay shrouded in fume. An imago of longing and loathing intermixed, fearful of the bell which binds me transfixed. But my cocoon has holes through which I peer, at all things long lost that I held so dear. And inertia being the immutable force, my nature faults and altering its course. The world is yet so wide, but my cocoon so near. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, RJ.
Thank you. Yeah, I brought some ice cream for everybody. This is made with oat milk.
That's my crack. That's my crack, all right? That's all. The only drug I do is ice cream.
One ice cream.
This is oatmeal. It's made with oats and it has brownie sundae raspberry swirl. And this is coconut bliss organic chocolate hazelnut decadence.
Oh la la. Would you please pass it through the screen?
Yes. I'll be right over. I'm starting to walk now.
I'm ready for breakfast.
Here.
I bet you are.
You would feel it.
I am. Or maybe more coffee. You can tell I'm a little bit weirded.
So we can add some bitters to this.
Stephen Miller, are you still here?
I think he, Stephen
I really
Miller.
want to show him something. Stephen?
I don't think he's there.
Okay.
Ice cream and show and tell. I'm back in school.
Stephen Miller's here.
Are you here, Stephen?
Yes, at least.
See, I got this from Stephen. And
Wow.
it's my pride and joy. It's my little Hermes that I take around when I want to type poems for strangers.
Beautiful.
And I know he's really sad that he sold it to me. But it's so cool. But thank you, Stephen.
It's a lovely color too, Peggy.
Well, and it matches, you can't see this, but I've moved into this home and the office has matching orange file cabinets, if you can see them. And
you're such a manifester.
I'm telling you, it's like it was meant to be. So
Yeah.
thank you, Stephen.
And you have the complementary colors behind you.
Oh, yeah. Well, and now I just keep it out so that I can, because it's a different feeling to write on a typewriter. And now I have room to actually keep it out. And anyway, I just had to say that because, you know, we're writers and, you know, typewriters are precious.
I just love the sound of them too. So.
Yeah. This one is especially because it's plastic, basically. So yeah. Anyway.
Lois, do you have another?
I have a little duet with Susan.
Oh, great.
Oh.
Yeah, because we both went last year to see the Neowise Comet together. And we both ended up writing poems about the Neowise. So I hope Susan has her poem available. You have yours?
Can you, am I here?
You're here.
I'm here, okay. I can't
Yeah.
see myself because I have different screens open, okay. So I guess mine is first, or?
As you like.
I think mine's first because that was the order in which they were written. And these actually also will appear, where are they appearing, Lois?
I think it's the San Diego anthology, you know, their annual anthology.
I think isn't it Diane Frank's anthology?
Oh, is it? I forget.
No, it's a pandemic anthology.
Oh,
I have to
you're right,
go,
you're
but
right.
I would really like to hear that before I go.
Okay. Go for it, Susan.
Okay, all right. Okay, Neowise. This is the first one. Let me make it bigger so I can read it. Okay. Lois. It bloomed from my fingers in the dipper dark under Ursa Major, among a constellation of faint lights scattered in the heavens like the tips of tiny petals of a white rose. I held it as long as I could, blooming in between my thumb and index finger, so I could feel the pulse of 6,800 years coursing through me. I have been waiting longer than even I know for a white rose to spill itself into my galaxy, into this year lost in oblivion, into my new unfathomable wisdom.
Beautiful. Neowise. Oops. Neowise arrives after 6,000 years on the tail of COVID-19. After the long black road twists round itself and the mountains are shadow puppets cut from their crossbar. After the search for blackout among the masked, some with telescopes or binoculars, some in large crowds, their faces naked as copper kettles around their circle of light. After I take my walking stick to the hillside where the valley below is lit in a festival of fireflies, the houses never left, the families in backyard pools, the cars sparking down the freeway dark. I try to see you with my eyes, but you are an imaginary sketch of light. Yet you are there next to the dim red flash of the tower. I raise my field glasses and catch your full-blown sparkle, a tassel of light above two stars as your gold mesh tail fans out, finless like me, swimming hard in the deep. That's it.
Do you have pictures of that, of the viewing?
I think
have
posted.
Did you
I
like
can
take a
see.
film clip?
Yeah. Here, let me get you a picture.
You should record your voice, your poems to the clips, to the visual as well.
Night, everybody.
Bye, Peggy.
Night, Peggy.
An early call.
Bye.
I hope you will forgive me.
Thank
Yes.
you. See you.
So
Thanks
good
for
to see
coming.
you all.
Thank you for your reading.
Yeah. I have actually a picture here. Let's see if I can get it.
It'd be nice if you actually, use the clips and record it to that with music.
I have like a big picture actually of my fingers going like this, and then the Neowise is in between the fingers.
That's my favorite photo that you took.
Oh, you saw? Yeah, she saw. If I could figure out how a way to show everyone, I don't. Maybe I can put my the camera. Maybe I'll see if I can do that. Hold on. I'll see if I can.
So since nobody wants the ice cream, I'll go put it back in the freezer.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just tempting me. And anyway, what good is ice cream if it's not like Margo's ice cream, like a sacrament? I want the sacrament.
Well, while she's putting it away, I'm going to say bonne nuit to all of you because I really need more coffee or I'm going to fall over sideways.
No, before you go, tell us what's your day going to be like? Where are you going next?
I can't leave the apartment for very long, to tell you the truth.
Oh, you still with papers and under lockdown?
No, not the papers, but there's really only so far that you can actually go. And since everything is closed, there's not much to go to. I can walk across the bridge. I'll probably do that just to move my body because sitting inside the apartment for so many hours and so many days makes me crazy. What I will probably also do is keep drawing because you're not in this room, you're in the other room. If I do this, I'm going to take you into the studio and show you drawings because there's lots and lots of drawings. And it's the one thing that has been keeping me sane is making drawings.
I wanna draw something with you, Margo. Let's go on a virtual journey and draw together. That's beautiful.
Okay, that's possible. Anyway,
Wow. Wow, that's amazing.
yeah. These are dolmens in Ireland, the dolmen at Pulnabron in Ireland. And since the next book is coming out from Ireland, the salmon poetry is in Ireland, I figure I better start thinking Ireland, and that'll get me there faster or sooner or something.
Are you using charcoal?
Yes.
They're
Yes.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
that's I'm sorry.
Can you go up to one of the drawings and like with your phone close up so I can see it close?
Sure. Let me put on more light so you can see. There's another way to do this.
Oh wow.
It's fantastic.
Gorgeous. I mean, beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
Margo, you need an exhibition.
You're right, I do. I do.
And then I can come to Paris and watch your exhibition.
Well, will you mount it, and will you find me the gallery that is full of French snobs who are only there to have cocktails, except these days even the galleries are closed, to tell you the truth.
My intentions for the gallery.
Your intentions are good. Thank you, Susan. Okay, listen, all of you, God bless. Stay
Thank you.
safe.
Thank you so much.
We all need one another more than ever, ever, ever before. And this is one way of being there for one another.
And so sorry
thank you,
about your
Elena.
brother.
Huh?
So sorry about your brother too. Did I read?
Lois.
It was Lois.
I know, but somebody said my brother passed away too.
Oh,
That was
RJ.
Lois.
That was RJ.
RJ?
Yes. He said on January 5th, but I don't know if it was this January 5th or if that was the day.
It was.
It just happened?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that. Okay.
And I'm so sorry, Lois, for you. I'm so sorry.
Thanks.
Okay,
I can't say anything.
Quote one thing from Before the Drought, which is spaced with nothing but white space around this one sentence. And it's over and over and over again, over 2 pages. Before my death, I will have tried to love again. Before my death, I will have tried to love again. Before my death, I will have tried to love again. Before my death, I will have tried to love again.
That's gorgeous, Margo. Thank you.
Maybe I'll close with another Dory Previn song.
Please do, before I have coffee, please.
To keep with the theme. We never stop to wonder till a person's gone. We never yearn to know him till he's traveled on. When someone is around us, we never stop to ask, hey, what's behind your mirror? Hey, who's beneath your mask? We never stop to wonder till a person's gone. We never yearn to know him till he's packed and traveled on. Sweet Marilyn Monroe on the silver screen, platinum reflection in a movie magazine. But did you ever have a headache? Did your mama own a gramophone? Did you like to be an actress? Were you scared to be alone? We never stop to wonder till a person's gone. We never yearn to know him till he's traveled on. When someone is around us, we don't know what we've seen. We take a digital picture to find the human being. We never stop to wonder till a person's gone. We never yearned to know him till he's packed and traveled on. Sweet, beautiful Jesus on the painted cross, a polystyrene body with a superficial gloss. But were you jealous of your father? Were you short when you were fully grown? Did you like to walk on water? Were you scared to be alone? I think perhaps tomorrow I'll try to make a friend, to really get to know him instead of pretend. I'll ask him if his feet hurt. Has he burdens to be shed? And if he doesn't walk away, I'll ask him if he's scared. And if he doesn't walk away, if his eyes don't turn to stone, I'll ask him if he's scared to be alone.
Beautiful, Elena.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. for that.
Elena.
Yes. Yes, thank you. Yes, I have a very powerful February coming up. But Lois is going to feature. But in February, my mother, my father, and my brother passed away, different years, but all in February. And my father was born and I got married in February. So it's a really incredible month. So it's
My
awful,
mother
it's
and
sad.
father were also born in February.
My father passed away and he's born in February. So we must take care of each other and be
Yes.
kind and live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Ellie.
Can I read you 3 lines just to follow with all that we are feeling right now? She said, imagine love resplendent in every corner of our worlds. If all we held dear were right here, where would we hide when in essence we shine everywhere?
Truth.
Thank you, everybody. Sweet dreams.
Thank you.
Sweet dreams.
Thank you so
Take
much.
care, all of you.
Yeah, same.
Thank you. You too.
Stay shining.
Thank you again, Elena.
Thank you.
And Margo, please enjoy your coffee.
Believe me, I'm going to.
And please, somebody have some ice cream with lots of liqueur on it. Bye, Eva.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I'm going to end the recording now. I mean, oh, sorry. Where? I don't see it.
I don't know how it works. I just know that it's recording. I see it.
Oh, I see here. Pause the recording.